Welcome to Dr. Katina Talks, the podcast where we explore the journey to a more fulfilling, balanced, and meaningful life. I'm your host, Dr. Katina, and in each episode, I share honest stories, reflections, and lessons from my own journey, with the hope that something in these short moments together helps you better understand yourself, your why, and how to keep growing into the fullest version of you. Today's story is about self-sufficiency. The kind that doesn't always look admirable or empowering, but the kind that's born out of necessity and survival. The kind that feels like strength on the outside, but often hides a deeper wound. Not long ago, I was flipping through my journal and came across a reflection I had written a few years ago about my teenage years. As I often do, I was trying to understand my why. Why was I so overly self-sufficient? I'd written about a story when I was 15, and we had just moved out of the projects into a row home in a nearby working-class neighborhood. That day, I was home alone when the phone rang. It was my best friend, Dee. Dee was just a year older than me, but she was mature and responsible for her age. Her mother, Miss M, was a hard-working Puerto Rican woman who worked long shifts at the local laundry and made the best rice, beans, and chicken I've ever tasted. Dee practically ran her household since her mother worked so much. She managed the house like a responsible adult, caring for her younger sisters and making sure things stayed in order. Her tiny room had 2 twin beds, and one was unoccupied, but not for long. That day, I was crying when Dee called. I told her what had happened, what had been happening, and without hesitation, she said, "Pack your stuff. This has got to stop." Well, Dee's language was a little more colorful. She definitely didn't say stuff, but I knew exactly what she meant. She continued, "You're coming to live with me." We hung up. She showed up at my house quickly. We packed my things into a large green trash bag and took turns carrying it on the 15-minute walk back to her place. I left a note behind, and no one came for me. I stayed with Dee and her family for 8 months. I went to school. I worked part-time. I slept in that extra bed in her room, and I felt safe. Until one day, the police showed up. They said I was a runaway. I wasn't running. I was surviving. The ironic thing was that I wasn't welcome back home. The officer was instructed to take me to a foster home. I remember the confusion. Why not just leave me where I was safe, where I was loved? That moment began a cycle of bouncing from house to house. Friends, family friends, whoever would take me in. 5 different houses in all, until I turned 16 and the state of New Jersey emancipated me. At that point, I became legally responsible for myself. I had a school counselor who cared, a state social worker who went the extra mile, and a monthly welfare check that I used to contribute to the homes that took me in. At 17, I graduated from high school and moved into my very own apartment. Thanks to the state of New Jersey, my savings, and some resourcefulness, I had dishes, furniture, food, everything. On one particular night, I sat on my new black sofa with the lacquered wood inserts that were the fashion of the day. I looked around my beautiful apartment, and guess what I did? I cried. I cried. Why was I crying? Because I had so much, but I was still a child. I was only 17. During this time, I had learned how to survive, but now I had to figure out how to live. Now, maybe your story isn't exactly like mine. Maybe you didn't leave home as a teen or carry your belongings in a trash bag. But I'm willing to bet you've had your own version of surviving. Maybe you were the strong friend, the responsible sibling, or the oldest child who had to parent yourself and everyone else. Maybe you've been the single parent who couldn't afford to fall apart because everyone else needed you to hold it together. Maybe you're the one everyone leans on, but you've never had anyone you could truly lean on yourself. Or maybe you're the friend, the partner, the family member who loves someone who's overly self-sufficient, and you're trying to understand why. why they are the way they are. If any of this sounds familiar, then you understand what I mean when I say strength can become a shield. And sometimes the very thing that helped us survive becomes the thing that holds us back from deeper connection, trust, and rest. So, I want to leave you with 5 lessons I've learned about self-sufficiency as a result of reflecting on my early history. 1. Self-sufficiency may have been necessary when surviving, but in order to thrive, you must connect with others. Being able to do it all alone might have saved you once, but it can also isolate you. True strength is knowing when to ask for help and letting others show up for you. You deserve support. 2. Overconfidence can be a trauma response. I used to know everything. I had the answers, but really, I was protecting myself. Confidence without vulnerability can be a wall, not a bridge. And if we want to share this life in this space in a healthy relationship with others, we need to learn to build bridges and not walls. 3. You don't have to be the expert in every room. When you know it all and do it all, you leave no space for others to contribute. And people need to feel needed too. Healthy relationships require shared power, not one person shows. 4. Grace is a language we all need to learn. Those who don't show grace were likely never given much of it. So, start by giving it to yourself, then extend it to others. Understanding goes further than judgment ever will. 5. It's okay to agree to disagree. Not everyone will see the world the way you do. People's perceptions are influenced by their personality and unique experiences. And even if we have a shared experience, our perception of that experience will most likely be different. And that's okay. Don't seek control, seek understanding. You can honor someone else's truth without abandoning your own. Learn to agree to disagree and move on. As I close out this episode, I say to my strong, self-sufficient listeners, you who have figured out how to survive with a little, who make life work without asking for much, who carry strength in your bones, I see you. I am you. But I've also learned there's more to life than just holding it together. There's softness. There's reciprocity. There's the deep breath that comes from letting someone else carry the weight for a while. So I want to invite you to ask yourself, where did I learn that asking for help was unsafe or unacceptable? And what would it look like to take off the armor, just a little? And as you reflect, I want you to remember the image of that 15-year-old girl walking across a field carrying her life in a green trash bag. Not because she had it all figured out, not because she was fearless, but because she had already endured more than most could imagine, and she kept going anyway. She represents what so many of us carry, the weight of surviving, the strength it takes to hold it all together, and the quiet hope that maybe one day we wouldn't have to do it all alone. That girl lived inside me for a long time, and maybe in some way she lives inside you too. The story may be mine, but the resilience, that part belongs to all of us. You don't have to do this alone anymore. You never should have had to. If this episode spoke to you, don't forget to like it, share it, and follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Dr. Katina Talks. And visit drkatinatalks.com for more resources and episodes. And if you're ready to go a little deeper, I've created a free companion journal entry just for this episode to help guide your reflection. Visit drkatinatalks.com to download it. Sometimes putting pen to paper is the first step toward healing and reclaiming your power. Until next time, live fully, love honestly, and remember, survival made you strong, but healing will make you whole. Bye for now.